That was Ethan. Now we have Coach Andrew. What's up, Coach Andrew?
What's up?
Ethan was here a little bit ago. We talked about his all-star picks and some of the games we covered last week and some of the players that are standing out so far this year. And obviously we talked about this game right here right over my shoulder. You see the DLS Serra cover. And we could start with that, Coach. I know you weren't there, but
Oh, but
you've seen plenty of materials with regards to
it
this game. Your thoughts?
was a very well played game. Like that's kind of all you could say about it. That's why they were the De La Salle, has always been a titan in Northern California. I think I'm using the word titan a lot because I've been watching Attack on Titan. So shout out to everyone that watches Attack on Titan.
Wait,
But Sarah,
Attack of the Titan?
Attack on Titan.
Is that an anime?
It sure is.
Yeah, my boys were watching they were watching something over the summer, and I think that was one of them. I'm not
Very
into
animated.
anime. I
Very
mean, I
animated.
am and I'm not. I like Death Note. Nice.
Anyways, no, it's I mean, it shows right there, right? Like De La Salle has always been a perennial powerhouse in Northern California and in the state and in the country. Traditionally, like they have been the top team. Um, Sarah, in the recent years, well, I would say like in the last decade, has been that now.
Yeah.
It's no disrespect to De La Salle. De La Salle is
Wait,
still a
did you say
very,
decade?
yeah.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
They definitely ramped it up since I would say 2013.
Decade.
Yeah, up. There you go.
Yeah, and then I mean you have your other teams that have like shown up too. You still have like teams like Folsom. Um, who else is in the mix at that like during that decade?
St.
St.
Mary.
St. Mary's, Jesuit, Granite Bay. I'm dropping some names right
But
now.
the thing with so you're mentioning a lot of these programs and they're all consistent.
Hmm.
But I think since you brought it up, I was going to say it for later. I think we are witnessing something very special with this team. I think I'm fortunate enough to kind of follow the team since like 13, 12, 10. And it seems like they're hitting stages every single year. And this game, it's definitely one of those. I think it pretty much sealed the deal as far as like who's running NorCal at least, right? They cracked the
Yeah,
top 25 on Max Preps. Shutout. My goodness. Shutout win. And you know what I love? What I thought was really cool? In the end zone and the sidelines, you see dads with their little boys watching the game. And it's like, where should we go? If you have a baller, it's like,
yeah,
especially if you have a baller like of a son, this is those two teams. I mean, it's a great showcase. So I think we're witnessing something special with this team. I think the way the coaching staff go about things is like way more advanced than anything that I've seen out there. And yeah, they're very established now, and so it's gonna be fun to watch. I'm really looking forward to a lot of goose eggs the rest of the season. I don't think anybody can score on these guys. What do you think?
no,
At least the
probably
first
not.
teamers, okay? Because I know that at some point they're gonna play their second teams, and the opponents will probably score a touchdown here or there. But as far as the first teamers, the starters on defense, good luck.
Yeah, I don't think anyone's gonna score on them like at all.
Yeah.
Like, and I'm not trying like and it's no disrespect to
No,
like
no, no, no.
no disrespect to anybody. And to be completely honest, like just to touch on it a little bit, there's that saying like the changing of the old guard.
Yeah.
This is like we're kind of witnessing it now. Because the old guard was like, I mean, because De La Salle was still in the mix, like, the last few seasons too. I think I don't know what year it was. They knocked out, I think they did knock out Serra for it to go to the state championship. I think that was like 5 years ago. Was that 5 years ago? The last time De La Salle went.
I don't
It was
remember.
not COVID, obviously, but it was in this decade, right? But that was like since then, you saw Serra like tighten up a little bit more.
Yeah.
Do you
Well,
remember what
well,
year that I'm talking about?
Sarah lost to SI that year. I think you're talking about 2019. I think if Sarah
Yeah,
had an undefeated season, I think they would have gone through. No, it was still De La Salle. It was still De La Salle at that point. Yeah.
yeah, and see,
That
so right
2019
after,
team was very, very good.
yeah, and now the guards changed because even up until 2019, De La Salle was still pretty dominant.
But who's in charge of that team? He was a Spartan. A real Spartan. San Jose State, De La Salle. Talking about Coach Walsh.
Yeah, so what, and that's where like I guess you can even say like this is where tradition like and the upbringing of like how he built. Here's a keyword. Let's see how many coaches listen to this word. Calling you out, coaches. It's culture. It's the
Yes.
culture that he built out there. It has nothing to do with the players. It has nothing to do with the coaches. It has nothing to do with anything outside of the team. It has everything to do with what's inside, which is the culture. They don't
Yeah.
worry about anything outside of themselves. They worry about the culture and how they are together as a unit. That's the real difference maker. And honestly, like when you watch these highlights from this De La Salle game, it doesn't look like the De La Salle that everyone is used to watching.
Yeah.
Something shaken up in internally there. The players are gonna have to figure that out. They have the athletes. That's the thing. Like they have the athletes still. That's you can't deny that. But it's something internal. Serra is dialed in. They're locked in together. There's a lot of trust there. And even when like their rotation was going in, the first stringers are cheering them on just as much as if they were on the field with them the entire time. Like
Yeah, they were
that's
loud. They
it.
were loud.
It goes deep. So that's definitely something that I think a lot of, if any program that's trying to be reestablished wants to take look at a really great example, look at Serra and look at De La Salle. Those are two very good blueprint teams to look at when you're trying to build a program, when you're trying to reestablish a program or turn a corner.
Yeah.
There,
Well,
that's my 2 cents.
I did say that this is something special. Like we are witnessing something special. What's even more special, I think, is the fact that Sarah is in the WCAL, and you can't do what Sarah's doing if you're a public school. And I'm not talking about I'm talking about just having the resources. The entire league, they have resources. So this league, as this team, you know, goes up and up and up to the next level and the next level, um, they're gonna carry the entire league with them.
You're
St.
seeing it.
St.
We are
Francis is really they have ooh we might need to redo the rankings or whatever we did a couple of weeks ago,
well.
because
Well, it's
they're gonna ramp up.
Well, I'm glad you said that. Like Sarah's going to carry the league because if you have watched every WCAL game that has been played, even just look at these last 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Like, look how big of a change each team did in week 2. because they're like, this is who we're this is what the competition's about. Like, so not only did Serra do one thing of being dominant in the WCAL and in Northern California, but they are helping they're like, I would say like, tangentially helping the other teams in the WCAL reestablishing the dominance of the WCAL in
Yeah,
Northern California.
this is
No
this
one's
is
gonna
the next level. And
no
it's
one's gonna touch this
yeah,
league.
see, we're talking about now and what we're seeing. I've been looking at the freshman teams the last couple
Yeah.
of years, and I kid you not, dude. I am very impressed with the freshman teams from Serra, St. Francis Valley. Like it's gonna be fun. It's really like elevating the entire. This league is gonna go to the next level in the next 3, 4, 5 years.
It's
It's gonna
insane.
be
I
fun
mean,
to watch.
even talking to some of my some of my old teammates that are helping back out at midi, even they're saying like this freshman class is going to be crazy. I was
Yeah,
like, oh,
I'm looking forward to
okay.
seeing what Midi's got going on with their freshmen and JV. And like before, I remember like 3 years ago, maybe I went to like a freshman game and I was getting like messages on YouTube and Instagram and Twitter. Like they're like, man, you're like, what are y'all doing? It's like, why are you covering freshmen? And I'm just like, man, these people have no clue. We're covering quality football.
Mm-hmm.
That's all there is to it. We don't have to go to all the games and all that stuff. We can go to whichever game we want. And some of those freshman teams can probably compete against some varsity teams out there, right?
Let's not put that
So
out there, but yes, they can.
yes, they
It's
can.
true. It's very true, and that's a scary thought. That is a very
Yeah.
scary thought.
By the way, so this game right here, uh, I know you didn't see it live, but defensively or just the game itself, like who stood out the most to you?
Oh man, Jabari, man, dude, just and Danny Niu, like, wow, just it's crazy. Like, you we usually see a lot of things. Like, I mean, what game was it that we saw last year? But to see Danny have a good game offensively this early, crazy.
Yeah.
Like, like that just shows you right there that he's a true two-way player. And then even that, I think Bay, he played both sides too. I got to see him run the rock a little bit, which is I don't think I've seen him run the rock since he was in Pop Warner when he was playing
So
with the
yeah, Bay is actually our game changer of the week, which is equivalent to the MVP of the week. He had, I think, at least two touchdown saving tackles from his position. And yeah, well deserved. He was all over the place.
yeah. What's this Bay effect that you're talking about?
I'm glad you asked, coach. Just so I've been watching these guys for the last 3 years, and now that they're seniors, I believe they have elevated everybody else along with them when they're on, especially when they're on the field. Because Jermaine Barrett, remember Jermaine Barrett? I talked about him in the first episode that we did. I said, watch out for him. He's going to be the next guy. He had 2 picks against De La Salle. It was in the fourth quarter, and it was late, and one was a pick six. I called it the Bay effect because throughout the game, De La Salle couldn't do anything. They couldn't run the ball. They couldn't really pass the ball. And towards the end of the game, obviously, Serra took a lot of their starters out and left their young starters on the field. Jermaine was one of them. And he became the leader of that defense, kind of. If you look at the highlights, actually, Bay was still on the field, but he was on the other side. But they were substituting guys in and out, backups. And yeah, that's the Bay effect, man. The other guys over, if Bay is over here, they're gonna try this side, and it becomes predictable, right? So you're gonna see a lot of that this year as the season goes. There's
I
gonna be
mean,
the
it
Dan
should.
effect, the Neo effect, the Colin effect.
Well, I mean, all the names that we're talking about right now, like it's not even just the effect that they have on the field, but like the young kids,
Yeah.
like that just shows the trickling of that leadership that they have and that they're bringing these guys up with them so that this team does not lose a step whatsoever because I guarantee you they probably have that same mentality as like, some of the best programs do, which is the next man up mentality.
Mm-hmm.
Like if because those are things that you can't control.
Yeah.
God forbid something happens, but they know that somebody's there.
Yep. And there were,
That's true leadership.
I think there were four starters that didn't suit up this past game on defense.
Jeez.
Yeah. And I never, oh, dude, I do have to give a shout out to Coach Bell because, man, the play calling, excellent. Enjoying it. Very, very entertaining. I do like seeing Niu and Jabari and Bay playing offense now because I remember last year at the state championship, Serra was getting schooled on the field, and I look back and I'm like, three of the best players are on the sideline. While Bosco is just whooping up and down the field. But anyways, so yeah, that was a really I think that's gonna be one of the games that's gonna be talked about a lot. This game's not
Oh
gonna
yeah.
because of just the way it was played and the way it was the results, And De La Salle is not a bad team, man. That's a great
Mm-mm.
team. It was just that, 99-yard touchdown drive over a little under 9 minutes off the clock. Like that was awesome to see.
This game holds a lot more weight than people really think.
Yeah,
Because they got to go through in order to make it to the championship. You have to go through these two teams.
yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if the NorCal championship is these two again. I would not be surprised
Well, one
at
of us
all.
gonna get the automatic promotion
Yeah.
to the Open.
Yeah. So regardless, like to get to the state championship game, you're gonna have to go through these two teams. It
Yeah,
doesn't matter.
no, that's true. What so we got to do some predictions.
Yes, we do. It's that time. It's that
It's that
time.
time. Got some.
Ooh, who do we got?
Do you want to read off the games or should I do it? I think you should
I
do it.
got it. All right. So we are starting with Leland at Overfelt. And then are we just going down the list?
Just go down the list, coach.
Okay, so we got Leland at Overfelt. We got Serra at Central Catholic, De La Salle at St. Francis, Hollister at Valley, Sacred Heart Cathedral at Wilcox, Bellarmine at Monte Vista, St. Boneventure at Riordan, and Sacred Heart Prep at Palo Alto.
Ooh. We'll just
It's a
go in
good
order.
week.
Yeah. We'll just go in order.
Okay.
Leland Overfelt. This is an interesting matchup. Um, Looking forward to it. I'm gonna go with Overfelt.
Oh man.
I'm gonna pick Overfelt because they're gonna be at home. Uh,
True.
they got the heads up now that I'll be there, so I'm sure the boys are gonna be pumped. No, I'm looking forward to seeing the Stowers just put on a show. Leland's got some young guys. I know Coach Josh's son is a freshman starter. I'm pretty sure he's a star. He played a lot in the last couple of games for Leland. Middle linebacker. Big dude. and so I'm looking forward to seeing him. It's gonna be this is gonna be a really good game to watch. So it could go either way, but I'm gonna go with Overfelt. I feel like they have a little bit more as far as like experience or guys that are seniors, returners. I think they have the edge. So I'm gonna go with Overfelt in this one. Score, I don't know, 21-14 maybe around there. I don't think it's going to be like a runaway victory, but I do see Mr. Stowers just putting on a show.
Okay. I'm gonna take the other side. I'm gonna go with Leland. It was convincing win in week 1 over Half Moon Bay.
Mm-hmm.
Half Moon Bay's very good program, and pretty they played pretty well against Palo Alto. Palo Alto looks very different this year. That I like it. And that was a very convincing, like, it was a good showing with the young team to play against a team like that. So I'm still gonna think it's gonna be close though. Like I'll call it close, kind of like a 21-17 game with Leland. Just young fire. I don't know many of the kids on Leland, but I do know like Leland, like when they get rhythm though, they can play. And it's they're really hard to like stop it. I know they have a really good like passing attack. So I want to see. That's my prediction. I think Leland will do that. Like get them in rhythm. They're gonna be hard to stop. So, but close game. So prove me wrong, Overfelt. Please.
It's proud, prove us wrong. There we go. Serra against Central Catholic. I don't know why I smiled. Here's the thing with this game. It's the game before a bye week. It's the game where they're probably still thinking about beating De La Salle. Hopefully they'll switch that off. But I'm pretty sure the coaches are going to remind them about that. It's an away game. I think we're going to be on grass. I'll be there at that game for that game. This is going to be a big showdown for Serra. I know Central Catholic, they have a couple of playmakers. They were right there with Serra last year, but that was last year. This is before bye week. These guys are going to unload anything and everything that they need to unload before bye week. And the goal is going to be to allow the backups to get on the field for the second half of the game. So I wouldn't be surprised. It's not going to be a prediction, but I wouldn't be surprised if Serra cracks 50. Yeah.
Dang.
I don't know if it's going to be a shutout, like I said, because I think the starters will shut out the Raiders. But when you get the backups in there, they might give up, a couple of touchdowns here and there. Sometimes it happens, but as far as the starters, it's going to be a shutout. And that offense, I know Coach Bell, he's going to want to try a lot of different things for this game to get ready for WCAL, and they're going to have a week off afterwards. So, Colin Taitua, the guys that are like kind of borderline when it comes to recruiting and needs to get a lot of film materials. I could see them using this opportunity to gain some attention. Yeah, so that's where I'm at with that. It's going to be they're going to crack 50.
50 roll. Okay. Yeah, I mean it's really I'm not gonna even say it's like unwise, but I'd say it's hard. It's hard to pick against Serra. Um, I think for some reason I feel like they're gonna do kind of like what they did this last week, go up 28-0 and then just let the rotation come in. Like it's not even gonna be a game after that. Like Central Catholic, traditionally physical team. That'll be fun to watch. But you know, it's
Like,
gonna
what's
be
your game plan for Serra? That's the thing.
it's like
Who do
game
you
planning.
stop?
I don't know.
right?
Who
I mean,
knows?
coach, you should know.
Man, well, I mean, you pretty much, I mean, it's you got to trust your scheme. That's number one. Like, if you trust your scheme, then you should just know like who's gonna be there, like who's gonna be like who you're expecting to be there. Like, if you're on offense, you already know who's in the box, and then you already know who's over the top. So you need to know like how to attack, like where's their cushions on all that. I'm trying to like not give away anything, but it's like that's how you game plan it for that. And then on defense, it's like same thing. Like, where are tendencies? What keys can you like, play off of like, what you can do so that they don't pick you off on
You're just
offense. Like,
rambling.
I know that's it is rambling, but I mean, it is like things that you have to look at when you scout. But it's like at the same time, it's like for a complete team like Serra right now, like it's hard. You just got to be able to, can you play to their level with the scheme that you have? That's why I said, if you trust your scheme, can you bring it to their level of play?
Let's
That's
move
it.
on. Let's move on.
Let's
Let's
move
move
on.
on. I'm gonna say St. Francis will beat De La Salle 28-24.
Oh,
Let me
okay.
explain. Let me explain.
Okay.
I think St. Francis is gonna look at this game as a win-win situation. No matter what the score is, they have everything to gain going against a powerhouse like De La Salle. They have a lot of young guys who's got confidence right now because of their big win against Monterey Trail after driving 2.5 hours to Elk Grove last Friday. So I like their chances. Jackson Cahoon is our GSF weekly defensive player of the week. He was one tackle better than his younger brother, Chase. um, those two guys are going to be special to watch, exciting, entertaining to watch in the next couple of years. Jackson's a junior, Chase is a sophomore. This is a very young, talented team that is kind of like mirroring the Padres. They're going to be right there, right behind them in the next couple of years because number one, their strength of schedule and just the way they're coached, right? I know there's other programs in the WCAL that are very, very well run and coached, but I still think St. Francis and Serra are ahead of the pack when it comes to their ways. So I think this is gonna be a shocker. 28-24. Let's go.
Okay. I like it. I'm also picking St. Francis. Every
Ooh,
time I
what?
every time I say I pick St. Francis, like it just burns.
2 weeks in a row, you're picking the Lancers.
I know. I like the Cahoons. And they look good. Like Kingston played well, and like I said, right? He seems like a one mistake guy. And dude, way to cover up the ball. Smart. Because
Yeah.
they rallied to you. And if you're gonna run up the middle and is as powerful as he is, just cover the ball. You don't need to make like a silly mistake like that, like dropping the ball. And like I said, he's a one mistake guy. So awesome job. I think I think yeah, with the momentum, like after beating Monterey Trail, I'm calling 24-14. And I think they're just gonna keep whatever this dagger is that, that Serra stuck in with to De La Salle. I think St. Francis will dig it in a little bit more.
Yeah.
Again, WCAL dominance right now. So 24-14. I'm calling it.
Nice. Nice. Valley Christian, Hollister. You can go first on this one.
This is going to be a battle of the like. This is like literally going to be a battle of who lasts longer. You got two running teams, like predominantly run teams. It's just going to be who's gonna just last longer. I think I'm going Hollister. Like I I love my guys. I trust my guys, and they'll clean it up. I think they kind of just like let their what is it called? They let their foot off the pedal because they were moving for a
Yeah.
while, and then they just let up. It's like you gotta keep going, especially like you're playing two run heavy teams like back to back weeks, and if you're a run heavy team, you gotta. It's just who's gonna outlast the other. So I think it's gonna be close though. I think this is a one touchdown game. So I'm going 28-21. Whoever controls the line wins this game, but it's gonna be Hollister. I'm going with that. Hollister. Make me proud, boys, please.
I saw Hollister last week. They look really good in the first drive, but they had trouble stopping the run. And yeah, so the Valley's gonna be home. I think Valley's gonna have a big win against Hollister. I'm calling 35-point difference. Have you seen Valley's line? Starting line.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I think I have a couple of them on my all-star team.
Yeah, yeah, you do.
I do.
So
I do.
I think this will be a beneficial for Hollister though for later on in the season. But for
Mm-hmm.
Valley, this is going to be a confidence thing. They're going to go 3-0 heading into
League
the
play. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So this is going to be a good win. They're going to have a bye week as well the following
Yeah.
week. I think.
This is like honestly like this is probably like if you're gonna look at like a trench battle, like this is probably gonna be like with Valley like having a bye, this will be like their toughest trench battle that they're gonna have, like leading into league. So I think this is a good game for both sides. And then even the same thing for Hollister. Like, this is a huge test. You know, they're Hollister, I mean, you saw them too. They're big boys too.
Oh
It's
yeah,
just you got to see like who is going to last longer and who's going to continue to fight. Like everything's going to live and die with the line. So calling out both lines from both teams. This week's on you guys. So whatever skill players, whatever you guys need to say to your line, take them out to dinner. Make sure that they block well.
I know one guy that's going to have a really good game is Vinny Vigilante.
I love that name.
What a name!
It's a
I'm
great
going to
name.
invite him to play in the All-Star game just because of his name. Vigilante.
It's a sick name.
Yep. All right, moving on. Wilcox, Sacred Heart Cathedral, Friday night. You want to go first or should I go first?
Yeah, I'll go first. I'm gonna go with the Chargers on this one. Um, just I mean, watching how they played last week too. Like, um, I can't pronounce his name, the quarterback from Wilcox, but he's a
Bonilla.
playmaker. How do you
Bonilla.
say it?
Tyson Bonilla.
Tyson Bonilla.
Like
He's
like the baseball player who's still getting paid to
oh,
this day. Bonilla. Bonilla.
and he is an athlete.
Yeah, unknown. Oh my God.
Yeah.
I saw him at the scrimmage against St. Francis. But the thing is like I saw him last year too. I saw him last year and I thought, maybe he would be the guy in that last year, but no, he's an athlete. And I like his touchdown celebration. So see him score again, you can expect the C.
But he's so dynamic, so dynamic. Like he can either like if even if just don't let him have the ball in his hands. Like it looks like he can do whatever he needs to do with that. And he's smart. Like he's a smart player. He uses his body well. He's got great vision. I mean, I don't think Sacred Heart's can be able to contain him. So
He's got the line too. So
I mean that helps out a lot. So I say 21-7 Wilcox.
I got a 17-14 score for this one, and it's going to be a quick game. So I could see Sacred Heart Cathedral coming back to make it close, but Yeah, I'll take Wilcox. So Bellarmine, Monte Vista. First of all, let's talk about Bellarmine McClymon's game. That was depressed. Wait, I shouldn't say depressing. That was a great win by McClymon's, but you could just totally tell that Bellarmine was not at that level at all. Like they were, I think they got shocked in that first two series, and they were already behind 7-0. But they got hit hard. They got tossed around. They got embarrassed on their own in front of their home crowd, and McClymon's was just at a different level. It would be an interesting matchup between McClymon's and Serra, to be honest with you. I think if you just leave the starters for both teams, I think that would be a really cool game. That would be a very hard hitting game because McClymon's they were hitting hard. Bellarmine had athletes. I mean, they have athletes, but they just kind of didn't show up for last week's game. So Monte Vista, I saw them at San Jose State's passing tournament. They definitely have the juice going for that one. Yeah, I think this is gonna be a big win for Monte Vista. I would say 35 to about 9. Connor Tripp, 3 field goals for the Bells. Monte Vista. Yeah, I think they're gonna take this one.
I'm a little torn, you know. Watching them play Mac, like, Mac played a very good game, very physical game. I'm hoping, and I know they will. I know Bellarmine they'll bounce back, and they'll start to play the game they'll play the game the way that we know them to play it. Um, but I gotta, yeah, I think that'll be closer. I think Bellarmine will wake up a little bit. I think if they needed a wake up call, that was it. If anything, if they want to be a contender this year, like that was the wake up call they needed. So
Right.
I'm hoping they keep it close. I still think it'll come down to, like, it's gonna be close. So I'm gonna go Monte Vista 24-21.
Okay. Sounds good. Sounds good.
Yeah.
Saturday is I'm gonna go to this one. I'm hoping that I'll get my trip up there paid for. San Francisco. I'm gonna go see Riordan at home against Saint Boneventure. Is that how you say it? Boneventure?
I think so.
Close enough.
Close enough.
From what I heard, this is a very good team, and I don't think Riordan's faced any good teams yet. So I think SB will beat the Crusaders 21-17. That's my score.
Okay. Coach Adair, I'm picking you. Prove me right. Make me proud. Because you have everything there. 28-14. 28-14. You like him personally has faced, Southern California teams. So,
Yeah.
he knows what's up. This is the first time this squad has, not him, but this team has. So I think he'll lead them, and I think this will be the shock and upset of the week, because this is a SoCal team playing against a team that doesn't traditionally play teams like this. So I'm calling this is my upset of the week. So 28-14 Riordan over St. Boneventure. Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
I got faith.
You're a WCAL guy all the way.
Almost. I did pick a couple of them, but it's okay. It's only because, I have some history with those two schools.
And depending on how much battery power I have left after this game, I'm gonna stop by Palo Alto to check out Sacred Heart Prep. Take on the Vikings. I gotta go see John Wick. 28-21. Sacred Heart Prep, by the way.
Really?
The prep, we'll get it together. This could go either way. I mean, the scores that I tossed out there is just just to have a score, but Palo Alto, they won pretty big the last couple of weeks, and Sacred Heart Prep, I'm not sure what are they 0-2 right now?
I think so.
Oh, by the way, starting later this month, you're gonna see some of the GetSportsFocus videos on ESPN.
What?
They have asked me to supply them with Devonte Adams High School videos.
From Palo Alto.
Yep,
Ooh,
pretty cool.
that's cool. Bay Area legend.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, definitely. Sacred Heart Prep is 1-1, and so they kind of struggled a bit there, but I believe this is going to be a game for them to kind of get it together. They
Yeah.
lost to Riordan. They lost to Riordan 36-17, and they won big against Sacred Heart Cathedral 42-23. So I think this is a game where they're gonna get things together and move on with a big 28-21 win against the Vikings.
Hmm. Nah. I'm calling Palo Alto. Palo Alto. They need to fire on all this right now. They need to like go and put like the Gators down on this. I'm going 24-3. I'll give Sacred Heart Prep a field goal.
What?
Yeah.
Wait.
Yeah. 24-3. I'm
They,
gonna give
they just
yeah.
put 42 points on a WCAL team.
Yeah, but Palo Alto looks very confident. So I have some confidence in them too.
I got some big boys at Poly. I
Yeah.
went to
So
Gun, so Palo Alto was like my rival school, and I rarely pick them for any of these things. But I think you're right. I think you're right. But I'm gonna stick with my gut feeling. The prep boys taking the prep
no,
20.
I think Palo Alto is going to do it this way because I think they want to kind of like set their standard of like being you know like who they're playing next. They're like setting up the rest of their season to like finish strong. You
Yeah,
know, it's really cool to see some of these like your traditional teams that and Palo Alto's in that mix too. Like they also like a very dominant team in the CCS. So it's like it's really nice to see a lot of these teams like starting to come around and really like try to like play the best version of football that they know how they've been able to play. So
yeah.
24-3 blowout.
That's your prediction segment. You're watching Get Sports Focus, but we're not done this week. We got a couple more things to talk about. Coach, what's on your mind? What's really on your mind?
Oh man. Okay. So
Hey, we should create a segment. What's on your mind, Coach?
what's on my mind? What's on my mind? What's on my mind? Well, with the whole news, okay, so I know social media has gone big, super big, these I would say like last few years, especially with like NIL and, we got commitment videos for high school now. Like, it's crazy. Now, my thing is when you create a highlight tape, right? You want to if you're doing a personal highlight tape and you're really just like focusing on yourself, fantastic. Show your place. But, if as a whole the game was not as good as you expected it to be, I mean, don't spin it and like create a false advertisement of like what actually happened. Like just don't do that. Like that's bad.
You're going there, huh?
I'm going there because it's like it's false representation, and you I get it, right? You're trying to build your program, you're trying to, bring athletes over to, your school because you want to become like a powerhouse team. You want to keep it in the area, keep it in the home, right? But don't play that game like that. Like, I don't see like these top tier programs like showing like, oh, look at Clemson, for example. If anyone watched the game yesterday, Clemson got destroyed by Duke.
Yeah.
So, it doesn't matter. Like, represent yourself, bounce back, prove it on the gridiron. Don't prove it on a video. Don't show that like I'm a good team, but we got destroyed. And that goes across the board. That's why I said like social media is so deceiving because you can make everything look really, really good,
Yeah.
right? And it's the same thing with like recruiting. Like you can make all these players look really, really good. You can make them look good against, not very like same level. I would just say same level of competition teams. You can make yourself look really, really good. But if you are playing against those teams, like you should be putting those teams down like bad. Like I'm been, following a couple of these games, like, from just all over the area. And yeah, if you're considered an A League team, whatever we call this A League thing, because California decided to, be very different on what they consider their leagues. Every league has like three different divisions. But if you're playing like because of the competitive equity and you're supposedly playing a team of a lower equity team, like you should be playing like you're the higher team. Like you can't make mistakes like that. Like that again, that comes down to, I mean, that also comes down to coaching too. Comes down to culture. So it brings us back full circle to what we were talking about at the beginning. If you can't build a culture at your school, and then you have this, now you put the false advertising, and now you're blowing up people for like you're blowing up like your team and players in a way where it's like not really there. What are you actually like trying to convey to the people? Like,
Mm.
are you actually a good program? Or do you just look like you're a good program and you just can't finish? That's what's on my mind.
So let me get this straight. So basically, you're saying if you play a game and you lost, be quiet. Is that?
Yeah, take it on the chin. It's okay. If you had good play, if you're a player that played well in the game, even though your team lost, like cool, add it to your highlight tape. Great,
Yeah.
good job.
Well,
Because you
social
still need to get
media,
recruited.
yeah, social media is free. It is free advertisement, and I think it's used in a variety of ways. And this is for businesses too. It's like, I guess I don't know. I
Well,
don't
I
know.
mean, what it's going to is like, and this has started like, you can let's generalize. Look at the fitness industry, for example, right? Everyone's posting something on from the fitness industry, like, and you can talk to like, you know, strength coaches, personal trainers, people that have been in the fitness industry for years, and they're still do like they'll show videos, and it's of the same thing, but everyone will look at the person who's doing something that's, I guess you're working the same muscle group, but they're doing it completely different.
Mhm.
They're like, wow, that's new. That's new. It's not new. It's also like not very like why? Like, why do I need to do squats on a stability ball? Like with a barbell on my back? Like, what am I doing with that?
What? That sounds
Yeah,
dangerous.
no, it sounds dangerous. Like, and that's just an example. I mean, that's a far out example of like what goes out there. But I mean, if you look, like, that's me generalizing it. But if you look at it and like how athletes are being represented nowadays, like it's like the same thing. It's like you can show the same stuff, like, but don't cover up, don't cover anything. Like, don't cover it up. Like if something didn't really happen, don't cover it up.
Yeah.
Like just take it. Take it on the chin. You win, cool, yeah, blow it up. That's great. If you lost, cool, take it on the chin, but like be honest about it. Like
Don't
just
basically you're saying don't make yourself look too good. Like,
yeah.
yeah,
And this is like
hopefully you guys understand what Coach Andrew's saying. But just to be blunt, like if your team got blown out, you shouldn't be posting anything. That's all I gotta say because yeah, it just kind of makes you look foolish. I'm talking about individual players. So
yeah,
but, you know, do you do what you can.
yeah. Yeah, and even that at this point, like in your guys' like recruiting right now, if you like around week 2, week 3, like if you don't have any highlights by now, like you can your chances slim out a lot. Like you should be doing something about it at this point. Like week 3, you should kind of be playing the game that you need to be playing right now. You should have the highlights, checking the boxes of like what it is that you've done. If you haven't, like you're behind. So there's my positive spin
Yeah, I guess I mean
on
this
it.
is that what I just said was actually just a personal thing because I have kids who are athletes and um I'm their dad and I'm in charge of them. So I actually do look over what my kids do on social media. And yeah, Troy is going to be a freshman wrestlers in a couple of a couple of months at Lincoln, and he's pretty good. And I haven't really allowed him to put anything out there. I always want him to earn it. And the way we do things here at Get Sports Focus is like I know there's a ton of really good athletes out there and a lot of really good teams, but we can't cover everybody. So we kind of concentrate on a certain area, a certain league, and we try our best to get to know the players in that group. And we don't just recognize kids or mention kids or put their highlights out there. I mean, there's requirements like you gotta earn to be on the highlight reel. And it's not, you don't have to do something amazing or great. You could do something funny. You could do something like, like last year I was at Christopher and there was a JV lineman during the
Oh,
halftime
Brighton.
show and he was towing the ship for the band. And I thought that was pretty cool. And it turns out he was a sophomore, right? He's probably on varsity now. So, we'll show things like that, but we're not going to show you catching a pass in a, 35 to nothing game. It's kind of like pointless. So when we do our
Yeah,
recognition, we actually have it in a way where like definitely more than one player deserves the award, but we kind of go up to where, okay, who deserves it more? Who did
right.
you play? Who did you go against? When did you score your touchdowns? Right. So for example, Colin Taitua, defensive lineman of the week this week, played crazy against St. Francis. I can't give it to one of the Wilcox guys who also had a great game because they played against San Benito. It's just like we do weigh things that way. So if anybody
Oh,
is
yeah,
why so and so, didn't get this or that, that's
yeah, and also, I mean, and then they also gotta like guys, you gotta understand too. Like we if you want to be on here, and we say like, hey, nominate your teammates, nominate your players, and
yeah.
then
Oh
you
yeah.
don't, and then you don't, and then you say like, oh, why are we getting love? There's a link that you can, or you can message us and say, hey, did you see this? We did this. Cool. Like we probably didn't see it. We can't cover every single game,
Yeah.
like up and down, up and down the coast. Like
Yeah.
we really can't. So if you have something, send it. Like we're not gonna know. We only know what we know.
We do pay
And
attention.
yeah, we do.
I would
Like
say 90% of the time I try to get on the messages. I know Kyle is the other guy that goes through a lot of them, and he lives somewhere else. But that's the beauty of social media. So yeah, if just I know people have been asking me, it's like, how do we get on there? It's like, can you do a feature on me? That's the funniest one. Can you do a feature on me? And I'm like, who is this?
Yeah, if
You
the
know,
first
like,
question if the first question asks is who is this, then you know you can kind of take a hit on that.
yeah.
Yeah, and it's the
Not to be
same thing.
mean
Like,
or
and I
anything, not to be mean or anything, but
no
we gotta earn it. You gotta earn it. So, and that's
earn,
how
not
life
give
is.
it.
Earned, not given. That's how the whole GSF All-Star draft process is done. And I just talked to Ethan about his pick, so that's gonna be a separate video if you guys want to watch it. But Ethan is one of those guys that he's really passionate about what he's doing, and I love seeing that guy at games because I know that he's going 100% every time he goes to a game. He provides stats, he does interviews, and I'm really proud of him because he's got his own thing going now, which is pretty cool. And so I told him, it's like, hey man, let's get you on. You can promote your podcast or whatever it is that you're doing now, and at the same time, we're able to discuss a lot of these things. So which is something of value. So, but yeah, man, I'm glad we got to do this week 3 now.
Three.
Wow, we're on week 3. So
It's going fast.
going fast. Looking forward to the
I
game.
for, yeah, I forgot yesterday was Labor Day.
Yeah, it's already Tuesday, so we're pretty much a day behind. But yeah, Coach Andrew, appreciate you making the time. Gotta go get the kids now.
Yeah.
Kid.
Speak what's on your mind. Stay tuned for next week's predictions and what's on your mind.
Hey, check out the comments on the YouTube videos. There's been a lot of traffic there, especially with the De La Salle game. There was a question that was asked that I thought was like really, really interesting. So you guys might want to check that out. Not gonna talk about it here. Gotta watch the video. So, all right. I will talk to you soon, Coach.